Hi guys, this is Scott from Code 4 Performance. I finally finished my 2022 KTM 350 EXC-F Light Adventure Bike build. I wanted to go over it in this final video with you. I posted a couple other videos as I got started on this build. The first one was all the products I'd be installing, and the second video was some of the wiring that I did on the bike, as far as a fuse block I added back in the airbox. How I made dedicated circuits for the USB outlet, the Trail Tech charging power, and the heated hand grips. So watch those other two videos if you want information on that. But here's the bike, let's get into it. Like I said, this is a 2022 350 EXC-F. And I've built this bike up for the main purpose is I'm doing the Tour of Idaho later this summer in August. And if you're not familiar with the Tour of Idaho, it's a 10-day ride from the southern border of Idaho to almost the Canadian border, over 2,000 miles, and mostly single track, dirt roads, ATV roads, fire roads, some pavement. But that's what I built this bike for. That's its purpose. That's why I went with some of the products I did. But I'm super happy with how the bike turned out. It rips. I've got the Get ECU in this, which I got from Takamoto. I'll tell you, if anybody's considering the Get or on the fence because of the price, yeah, I know it's expensive, but I will tell you the Get, just the tunability, the adjustability, it's by far better than any other ones out there on the market. This thing rips. I've got the traction control knob, the Wi-Fi comm, and the map switch is all part of the Get setup. And of course the bike's been desmogged when you do that. And I'll show you some of the stuff with that in just a moment. But anyway, let's get into the build. Let's just start at the back. So tires, I haven't changed this from the stock ones yet. I'm probably going to get a second set of wheels so I can retain these tires for resale, or if I'm going to be with the price of gas, maybe I'll be riding this back and forth to work and around town a lot more. So that could be an option. But tires, you know, that's personal preference. Everybody has their own, what they prefer, what they think is the best. So I'm not even going to go over tires with you. I've got the Enduro plate, which is a magnetic kind of a breakaway setup on the bike. Takamoto's Tidy Tail, that really cleans up the back of the bike. Aside from the Enduro plate, basically it's just like a XCF or XCW tail end. Up here on top, I'm running the Giant Loop Mojave saddlebags with their aluminum mounting plate. I think the plate is important, especially if you're going to be hauling the gas bags, which I will be hauling gas bags on this. So that really helps to tighten all this up. I'll tell you what, these Giant Loop bags fit really, really well. Quite a bit of room in there. I'm pretty happy with them. Part of the gear, I've got the Moscow Moto Pico tank bag with their cell phone holder right in there. And that can actually come off. If you don't want to use that, you can take that off. Seat Concepts, standard height, but their wider version comfort seat. I'm really happy with the feel of that. Great product. Seat Concepts build a good product. A Turby's 3.9 gallon gas tank. AXP skid plate. Down here on the fuel system, I've got the quick disconnect and the Golan fuel filter. I've also upgraded the fuel tap or fuel fitting at the bottom of the tank to the aluminum one. Basically, the fuel system on this bike is bulletproof. I'm going to put a few more hours on the bike, and then I do plan on changing the intake filter. After you should put some hours on the bike, because as the pump where it begins its wear cycle, you'll get some of that debris from the pump wearing, the bushings and what have you, into that filter. So I'm going to put a few more hours on the bike and then change that. Samco silicone radiator hoses. And the important thing about the Samco, and I mentioned in another video, is make sure you buy their clamps. They're wider and they're smooth on the clamping surface on the inside. They won't bite into the hoses and gouge them. Spend the extra money, use the right clamp. Dirt Tricks countershaft washer. I've got the Fastway Evo 4 foot pegs, and I'm running the S3 stainless steel foot peg pins, which eliminate the cotter key, and that's actually got a nylock nut on here. This one's ran this way so it clears the kickstand. TM Designs swing arm guide, excuse me, chain guide, chain slider, and the TM Designs chain guide on the back. Bulletproof Designs swing arm guard, which is this orange piece here. This just, in the event of a hard impact here with a rock, it can break the two mounting tabs off. Just helps prevent that. Swing arm guards, Polysport swing arm guards, and I've drilled and tapped the front of it using a screw here. And I've got the Bulletproof Designs axle blocks on there. Gearing is still stock. Over here, Bulletproof Designs rear disc guard and their caliper guard. I went with the silver and the black. I think that's a pretty good looking combination. FMF Q4 muffler. The Q4 is their quieter version than the 4.1, and this one has a spark arrestor in it. P3 header pipe guard. And as I mentioned before, the bike's been desmog, so the O2 sensor, lambda sensor has been removed. Part of the desmog is I went with the Euro air intake boot. It's hard to see that up in there, but rather than take the reeds out. That way, when I sell this bike, I could if the new customer wanted it, I could put it completely back to stock with all the emissions. That way I'm not hacking anything up. Suspension on the bike, Factory Suspension Works, not Factory Suspension Connection. They're two different companies. Factory Suspension Works is out of Montrose, Colorado. The owner's name's Greg. I've had him do suspensions on a previous bike and some friend's bike. I'm very happy with his setup. We spoke on the phone about the gear I would be carrying on the bike, the mods that I've done to the bike, considering the extra weight for the fuel on the front, the weight on the back, and he adjusted spring rates accordingly for that. I'm super happy with the ride so far. Obviously I need to get some more time on it, but I've got Scott's, it's hard to see that in there, Scott steering dampener sub mount with the BRP rubber mounted sub mount. BRP's handguard mounts to the Cycra wraparound handguards. Takomoto's fork wrap signals, really cool. Bulletproof Designs radiator guards. I have put the KTM hard parts coolant overflow in the down tube, which you remove the charcoal canister, and that replaces that. Didn't need that anyway as part of the desmog. Up in behind here, I've got the moto-minded stout mount, which basically cleans up a lot of the wiring behind the headlight. And I'm running Moto-Minded's dash, which is this piece here. And I actually ordered this dash right from Moto-Minded, asking them to not put the key switch hole in it. And they were glad to do that, just took a little extra time to get it here. But what I opted to do, since I've deleted the key switch on this bike, which would normally go in that hole, this is my heated hand grip switch. The dash also comes with this push button switch that you can wire up to anything you want. Relocates the turn signal indicator into the dash, and it also has a dual USB outlet. This will run up to my phone to charge my phone. Got the Trail Tech Voyager Pro on Moto-Minded stout mount, and I am also running the Trail Tech updated aluminum dock. Way more robust than the plastic one. Baja Designs XL80 headlight in the Moto-Minded mount, which allows for some adjustability of the headlight using that mount. Super cool. Tugger straps, front and rear. Tugger is a local company here in my area. Great guys that run that, dirt bikers themselves. Back up here to the controls, I've got Sick Ass Racing's narrower left side combination switch, and their combination over, under, start, stop. Really cleans up the bars, adds a little more room to mount different things, especially running the Get with the map switch. I need a little extra room. Double takes mirror. Giant loop handlebar bag. There's another look of the steering dampener in there. Let's see. In behind the airbox panel, I'm not going to take that off, but in behind there is my fuse block for my USB, my Trail Tech, and my heated hand grips. It's quickly accessible. For more information on that, see that previous video where I highlighted that. I know I'm forgetting something for sure. Seat concept seat, I think I talked about that. Part of the Acerbis tank is, if you're going to run a tank bag, I can clip this off of here. If you're going to run a tank bag, you have to block off the vent. So you have to get the this additional venting kit. I got that from Takomoto, but basically just I filled this with epoxy where the hose would normally come out of, and then you can either, this free flow vent hose, got that from Takomoto too. You can either run that just down along by the throttle cables and tuck it down in there. But on this piece is actually a OEM KTM part off of like a 2020. I found it on a 250 XCW. Basically, if you look at the KTMs, that's just where the hose can slip over that. Fits in the, there's already a plug from when this bike was new that this clips right in it. So just kind of a clean way to run your vent hose. I've protected the wire, this vulnerable point of the wires. This is some fabric wraparound wire loom. STR speed bleeders. Dingo fork guards. If you take a hard crash, the fork tubes are pretty thin. You can damage those. They just snap on and off. I think that's about it on the bike. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Like I said, the Get is the way to go. If anybody's on the fence deciding because of money, save your money for a little bit, buy the Get. You won't be disappointed. It's got the traction control knob. In map 2, this allows you to adjust the traction control from 1 to 10. That works in map 2. Map 1 for the Get is basically the full-on, what Mike refers to as a ludicrous race map or all-out map, and you can tell the difference. The bike runs significantly different between the two. The map 2 is a little bit softer. If you're on some tighter technical trails, that's where I would use map 2. Pretty happy with how the bike turned out. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Please like and subscribe. Hit me up if you have any particular questions about a particular part. I'd be glad to see if I can answer it for you. But yeah, I'm happy to go out and ride this thing this summer. Try the Tour of Idaho. I'll start it up for you and let you hear how noisy or not noisy it is with the FMF. There you have it. Thanks for watching, guys.